Hello, my name is Josh. I come to you from London, England. I work for Carnival Cruise Lines, and this is my Q&A session. This is going to be part one because I've received about 50 different questions in the first 24 hours. Okay, so question number one comes from Drew Wright. Love talking to crew, and who is my most memorable passenger? It's difficult to say one, but the one that popped to my mind straight away was from an event called The Quest. Now, The Quest is an adult scavenger hunt. So you remember when you're a kid and you get put into groups and you're told, oh, go and look for a pencil. So it's an adult version of that. It gets pretty raunchy, but it's very funny. One of the tasks is to switch clothes with a male and a female in the group. And basically people generally hide when they're doing this for obvious reasons. But I had one particularly bold lady who, in the middle of everyone, before their other half had even started to get ready to change clothes, just stripped to nothing. Birthday suit, absolutely nothing, in the middle of the room. It was the first time I'd hosted Quest as well. So that will always be definitely a funny memory. There's also a lady called Roxy who's cruised with me several times before. She stays in touch when I'm back home. Lovely lady. She's very memorable. Had a group of medical students who came on for my last week on board, and Chelsea, one of the members of the group, was part of the mixology contest which I was hosting, and they all went out their way to come and have a drink with me on their last night. So that's the things we remember. There's also a group that I chatted to about gaming, because I'm a huge card gamer. So the people we remember is generally either people that do something really crazy, or the people that take time out of their vacation to come and speak to us as crew members, and come and find out a bit more about us. That actually means a lot to us. So yeah, so that's what I'd say. If you want to find out stuff from the crew, go and spend some time with them. It really does make our contract, and we do remember you guys that do that and that do spend time with us. Question number two was from Frau Tammy. I think it's Frau. If I mispronounce your name, I do apologise. And your question was, how is it that you guys do all the towel creations on board? Now, the housekeeping team that do these, when they come on board, they go through training in how to do them. It's a massive class, and they have to make each one hundreds of times to get it perfect. I've had to learn a couple of them. I can do a dog, I can do an elephant and a rabbit, because I host the training session we do for the guests. So we actually do a towel folding lesson on board, and that is my job to host, or one of my jobs. So yeah, so that's how they learn it, just endless practice. And we do a book on board where you can learn it as well. But really, if you want to get top notch, you have to learn from someone who knows what they're doing. Sarah Bister, how many months do we spend on the ship before we get any time off? And how much time off do we get? So, time off wise, it varies depending on what position you're in. Basically, for every month that you spend on board, you get a week off. General rule of thumb. You can take as long off as you want, but as soon as we hit land, we're not getting paid. So generally, if you do a 4-month contract and you're going to take 4 weeks off, 6-month contract, which is the average, most people do 6 months, and you're going to take 6 weeks off. And if you do a longer 8-month contract, then you take a couple of months off. I'm a bit of an exception this time, hence I'm doing some vlogging from home. I've got a family wedding, my uncle's getting married, so I am hanging out at home probably for about 3 months, even though I needed a 6-month contract. But I will be back soon. I will be back. Number 4, Jodie Grassing. How do you remember everyone's names so fast? I don't. I am rubbish with names, as lots of you have said you are. I'm absolutely atrocious with names. I do my best. There is a few tools in place to help us, and it is like part of the Carnival service values that we are meant to try and remember your names, so I do try. But especially when you're doing like 4 and 5 day cruising, it's tough. But we do have lists of names, and obviously the cabin stewards do have lists of names of who's going to be in which cabin, and they're encouraged to remember them. I think it comes down to practice at the end of the day. A lot of them are so used to it. A lot of our service staff have been with us for decades, you know, and often it's even within the family, you know, their father did it and their father's father did it. So it's just practice of memory, I guess. Emily Clark Dotter, how many crew members do you share a room with, and how big is your room? So the width of my cabin is the length of a single bed. There is no room beyond that. They are slightly larger than square, but there is literally, you step into the room, you've got bunk beds in front of you because there's two of us in a cabin, a desk on one side and a tiny bathroom and a wardrobe on the other. Yeah, they're pretty tight. However, we just sleep in there. You know, you sleep, you shower. The rest of the time we are out working or out in other crew areas, socialising with other crew. So it's adequate, but they are tight. There's not a lot of room. For most of us, it's 2 to a cabin. On some of the ships, there are some 3 to a cabins. But actually, you end up with more space in a 3 to a cabin room. So I used to be on another cruise line, and they had lots of the 3 to a cabin. But actually they were preferred by a lot of the crew because you got more room in them. Once you get to a certain level, you do get your own cabin, so the management will have their own cabins. Yeah, but for us it's 2 to a cabin, and I've been very lucky. I've had some great cabin mates. Julie Ricket, how do you file taxes on board? Right. I don't pay tax. As a UK citizen working for a US company in international waters, I don't pay taxes in the money I earn. Some people do. I think most Americans do. And I did have to file a tax return this year because I was self-employed in the UK first, and I just submitted it online. So I'm going to hazard a guess that that's what the Americans do, or they do it when they get home. I always had a friend who was a singer on board, Corey, and I remember her running around in a home port to get her taxes filed 1 week. So I think often it's online, but obviously getting onto the internet is a challenge. The Wi-Fi isn't great on board the ships. So yeah, home port, send stuff off, or run to an internet cafe and get some internet. Ashley Jones Dodson, how many hours do you work a day? So I work somewhere between 6 and 10 hours a day in theory. In practice, I have had days where I've had a day as short of 4 hours and I've lucked out, just where we've had plenty of crew on board and it's been a long port day. I work in the entertainments team, so if there's a long port day, then there's not as much entertainment to do. So if I'm really fortunate, it's as low as 4 hours. I've also had bad days where we've been short-staffed and it's fallen on the team to pick up the slack, and I've worked anything up to kind of like 14 hours in a day. That's not the norm, but it does happen. Generally, we can only work 70 hours a week, so they generally try and keep us below 10 hours a day, no matter what position you're in, because then you're not going to go over that 70 hours. However, with entertainment, it's a little bit looser, because if it's a sea day, we're going to work more hours than a port day, because there's more guests on board, because you can't go anywhere. So generally, we can work up to 12 on a sea day if it's busy, Christmas season, for example, and particularly if we're a staff member down, that can happen. And then of course there's additional work, like if we're working for a promotion, or there's stuff we might be doing in our own time, which pushes that up even further. But we can only work kind of 10 hours a day regularly, because any more than that is just unhealthy and is illegal. So we clock in and clock out, and we're very careful. I did notice a comment on one of the Facebook groups where I was looking for these questions about crew members working huge hours a day and fixing clocks. That doesn't happen anymore. It's an old thing, and actually we clock in, we clock out for every single shift now, and anyone caught fiddling that gets fired on the spot. So these horrendous 20-hour working days, 4-hour sleep that you hear about in YouTube documentaries. They just don't happen in the industry anymore. The industry is very high-end, very professional, and yeah, there is safeguards in place to make sure that we're all fit and healthy, and yeah, so that just doesn't happen anymore. Do I get to enjoy any of the beautiful ports? If so, what do I do? This is from Natalie Wilson-Mannock. Yes, we do get time off in ports. It's usually only a couple of hours, but we will visit a port maybe 10 times, which you're only visiting once, because we're doing the same cruise on repeat. So yes, we get a couple of hours off in ports. Often first agenda is go and find free internet. You'll find the crew are always after free internet. But also, last contract I learned to scuba dive. I enjoy taking photos, so I went and did some photography and things. We can book onto shore excursions if we've got time and things like that. So yes, we do get to enjoy the ports, and we do arrange things, internet being highest priority. From Ashley Jones Dodson, do I have family? I have family in the way of mum, dad, sisters. I don't have family in the way of wife and kids. There are people that do have family and they have them on board. Once you're a certain seniority, they can just travel with you for a small charge. Or you get other couples where both parts of the couple work on board. You may meet a man called Eric the Hungry Cowboy, and he works with a lady called Leah. They're actually a couple, and they work together on board. They're great. I suspect Eric is a cruise director by now. He was assistant cruise director when I worked with him, but he was well on his way. Fantastic what he does. And family can come and visit us. We do get a family discount. Once you have a solo cabin, they can come and stay with you in your cabin. I can book them into a room. There is a charge for this, as you'd expect. We do get discount. It's often cheaper for us just to find a last minute deal online. But Carnival do look after us. Judy Hale, we always tip extra at the end of our cruise. What else would you like to see passengers give? Time. There you go. Time is the answer to that. As I know, the memorable passengers in my mind are the passengers that come and take 10 minutes out of their holiday to come and actually ask who I am. I love speaking to guests. Some crew don't. Some crew like their time to themselves, but I love socialising with guests and I actively do it. You don't have to give me anything. I don't work for gifts. I work to make your vacation great, and that's why I love what I'm doing. So yeah, just come and give me some time. I've been given alcohol before. Never say no to alcohol. Buy us a drink. If someone's done a great job, buy them a drink. But yeah, but obviously your tips and gratuity also go a long way to topping up our wages and make it viable to do what we do. Linda Arnold, who gets the least pay gratuities and who gets the most? I can't speak for everyone else. I don't know exact percentages. Gratuities wise, out of your automatic gratuities, I can tell you I get precisely nothing. I am a comedy club manager on board. I do the comedy club. I'm also do hosting, and I've been a bingo manager on board, part of your entertainment team. And I don't see any of gratuities. It's not for us. It's for people like the bar staff and the cabin stewards and the alike. I don't know who gets the most percentage-wise. I don't have the algorithm, but from what I understand, that is split between the people that are working hard to make your holiday great. And what's great about the tipping system on board is it ensures the people that you don't see also get a share. So the people in the laundry rooms, you know, the people who are working in the kitchens behind the scenes who you don't see day to day, but are still working hard to make your vacation amazing. I am going to stop here. I've got a list of more questions here, but this video is already at 15 minutes long. So I'm going to stop. I will do a part 2. I might even do a part 2 later today. We will see. If I've answered one of your questions, please do like and comment. If you have any further questions, do ask. As I say, my name's Josh. Feel free to like and subscribe to my page on my YouTube. I'm going to end up probably doing about 10 of these by the amount of questions that I have, and I'll do my best to answer them as fully as possible. Have a great day, guys, and I will see you on your next Carnival Cruise.